the baby boomer women who did it all, who worked really, really hard outside the home, who also raised their families, who really put a lot of emphasis on career because they had more opportunities than the generations before them, but were pretty overtired, you know, and did not have too much balance between their work life and their home life, trying to do everything and not being able to do everything well. So now there's a younger generations that's saying, you know what, we want more balance. We don't want to be workaholics. We don't have to give up our social life and our family life for our careers. And that's a real shift.
Yeah, it's like competing with men. You know, men go to work, and then when they come back, they don't want to work at home again. So, you know, I guess women want the same thing.
Well, it was interesting because, you know, there's an example of a young woman who was talking to her college friend about having two parents who were really kind of big-ticket psychiatrists. And, you know, someone commented that you must have had such interesting conversations around the dinner table, you know, with parents like that. And her response was, I had dinner every night with our housekeeper, right? So she didn't really have that kind of relationship with her parents because they weren't there. And so that memory of I grew up having dinner with my housekeeper, not with my parents, has led to this need to have more balance and to say I'm not making my career my life.
That is so true. And by the way, talking about housekeepers, did you hear about former Governor Schwarzenegger?
I did.
You know, it was so sad to see that 10 years ago, he actually had an affair with his housekeeper, had a baby.
Right, and he fathered a child, and of course, you know, everyone is talking about Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger splitting up, and they seem to be doing so in a mutually respectful way, not saying anything negative about the other in the press. But, you know, it's such a personal matter, what happened in their marriage and how they decided to resolve it. And they, of course, have children, so they have to think about what's best for them.
That's very considerate of you. I thought you were going to really tear into the governor. Moving on, folks, there was a fantastic article in New York Magazine. You remember all the controversy that was generated by Tiger Mom, which was in Wall Street Journal. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the Tiger Mom went around the country and saying that was the best way to raise children was Chinese style. Mm-hmm. Till her daughter told her, no, that is not the way to raise children. And, of course, then she apologized very recently. But now, the children of Chinese mom and Vietnamese mom and Indian moms and the others, they're speaking up. They're saying, you know what? All our lives, we've been just told to become doctors and lawyers and IT people, and we dedicate our lives to it. But when it comes to real world, mm-hmm. even though you were brilliant, you were in the upper echelons of academia, they cannot get a job as a manager or a CEO or others because they're passed over. And they're saying we're nothing but paper tigers. We're not really counted in the community. You know, some people blame their faces. You know, faces are unapproachable because somehow the smile does not register on their faces, and many of them feel they're like Twinkies or bananas, which is yellow on the outside, white on the inside. Many of these kids are not feeling well.
There are a couple of things going on here. One is that, yes, for years we've known that Asians are seen as sort of they're not seen. They're the invisible minority, right? So not only the model minority by doing what's right, by doing well in school, and by getting good jobs and contributing to the society, but they don't make a fuss. They don't complain. They want harmony, right? And so that's seen as ideal because you become this productive member of the society without causing any ripples or causing people to be uncomfortable. But that invisibility is really a problem because then we don't see people rising to leadership positions. They're getting passed over. They're getting ignored. Oh, you stick to this technical area where we think you're good. That's a stereotype, right? That this is what you're here to do and nothing more. That you're not here to lead, that you don't have the potential that maybe others do, and that's simply unfair. It's not that the potential is not there, it's not that the desire is not there to be a leader and to be seen, but there are so many hidden stereotypes that they don't even get the opportunity.
The article mentions that 5% of the United States population is Asians, mm-hmm. and 0.03 is the percentage of CEOs in the Fortune 500 that are Asians. So in other words, what they're trying to say is it's all there, you know, and we can't be, and they want to be comfortable in their skin. It's a great article to read. is New York Magazine. It's called Paper Tigers.
Well, talking about young people who want to get ahead in their careers, this is graduation season. Lots of young college graduates excited to join the workforce and figure out what's next, right, in their lives. And there was this article in the New York Times. The headline reads, "Major Delusions." And I kind of laughed when I saw that. What do you mean, major delusions? Well, you know that those speeches that we hear at commencement ceremonies are so optimistic about the potential and what people will do, and really, like, you know, everything is the grass is green and the sun is shining and you can go and do whatever you want in this world. And we know that, you know, when you underestimate the obstacles life has in store, it lowers our stress and anxiety, you know, because we're feeling like, oh, things are good. And this is one reason why optimists tend to recover faster from illness and even live longer. But if you really look a little bit more closely at this, sometimes we're optimistic when we really shouldn't be. Like, we don't have good reason to be optimistic. Like, the job market is not that great. The environment is going down. But still, we find a way to be optimistic. We think that we're going to get a high-paying job. We think that we're going to be successful in our careers. And what I was fascinated about was some brain research that has been done. Why are we so optimistic, right? Is this a cultural thing? Is this something that's chemical in us? Well, with the development of non-invasive brain imaging techniques, we have gathered evidence that suggests that our brains are hardwired to be optimistic. When we learn what the future may hold, our neurons efficiently encode unexpectedly good information, but fail to incorporate information that is unexpectedly bad. So we're very selective. The good stuff sticks, and the bad stuff we don't even want to pay attention to. And we're really wired that way. But, you know, of course, underestimating risk has a lot of consequences. It leads to unsafe sex practices, people not saving for retirement, not getting insurance when they need to, not going through medical screenings when they need to be careful about that and their health.
That's the pessimistic speaking.
Well, we know that those risks are real, yet we don't take them seriously. There are these Duke economists, Manju Puri and David Robinson, who suggest optimism is like red wine. A glass a day is good for you, but a bottle a day can be hazardous.
It was very unfortunate to hear that the outsourced television series on NBC has been canceled. I mean, this was one television show which had mostly South Asian actors. Mm-hmm. And these guys knew about 30 days ago that they may be cut. So they went all over the country, wrote to their fans, hey, folks, write to NBC Universal, tell them that please save this show. No one could save it.
And it didn't work. Well, you know, the thing is that it's kind of, the show's full of stereotypes.
Yeah.
And as much as we were excited to see a show that doesn't just feature Indian actors, but actually supposedly, you know, is set in India, you know, it was definitely something new in American primetime television, but I can see why that didn't last very long.
You know, it didn't last very long is because all the actors were acting like they were in India. So they were behaving Indian. Of course, it didn't go big. But I bet you if they act as Indian Americans, it'll be successful. And so many of them have been successful in the regular series as Indian Americans.
Right.
So it's okay. In a way, I'm kind of glad it's canceled because I really didn't enjoy it.
I know, it wasn't.
You know?
I mean, it had its moments, but yeah, it had its limitations too. So
well, we learned something.
We did.
Yes.
And that's about all we have for you this week on Darshan America. We always love to hear from our viewers, so if you have any comments or questions, please do email us at darshan@darshantv.com. And thank you so much for joining us.
And have a wonderful weekend.
Namaste.